Hey, MSers, Monster Smashers. It's time for My Life with MS episode. It's Monday MS time. I don't really have much on my front. Here in Wisconsin, we hit, well, they said 2 days ago, I think it was, the temperature, the heat index and stuff was around 108 degrees. And up here in the Midwest, we got humidity, so that sucks. I'd rather have the dry heat myself. But we locked ourselves indoors for 3 days. Well, I did for 3 days. The wife had to go to work today. Thankfully, I can do all my stuff online in my air conditioned home, which we got one of those rolling air conditioners, the standing tall ones. Run the hose out the window and you can move it around the house somewhat. Only downfall is it does have a lot of water that comes out of it, if depending on how much moisture is in the air, and with the humidity in Wisconsin, you're getting a lot. I got a little standard bucket that I run the hose into because the hose does go from the top down to a bottom water pan, but the water pan, I don't know how big it is, can't hold that much. And then all of a sudden you got a mess all over the floor when you try and deal with that. So I just run it right into a bucket. That way I can dump the bucket a few times a day. Not have to worry about it, but it's not too bad if it's on you. If it's not on you, the rest of the rooms are pretty much humid, sticky, icky, warm, nasty. Don't like it. The cat, for some reason, now he's in his tower, lounging, but usually he uh, will sit there and hang out in the sunroom where there's like 13 windows. That thing's like an oven out there. He's got two of his cat towers out there, and he'll lay in the tube of the one and just veg. But then yesterday I go out there to look where he is because I didn't see him in his towers. Here he's just passed out on the floor. It's like, are you alive? And it's like he gets out of it. Whenever he's in the hot areas, he sits there and gets about 5 feet. Then he just plops down, lays there, looking like he's dying of heat exhaustion, which I can totally understand with having a fur coat on. But little shit still goes outside during the prime of day. And then last night he stayed out for a good hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. Kept calling for him. It's like, dude, I want to sit down, veg on something, and just watch something comfortably before I go to bed or read something. And it's like I was just sitting here stressing on him because being on a busy road, you know the inevitables. May very good chance it's gonna happen that he's gonna get hit by some jackass. That's gonna suck, but you can't control him. He wants out. You gotta let him out. But he is good. He usually looks. It just cracked me up the first time I see him go across the road up at our old place. He walked up to the road, stayed back a few feet from it, looked left, right, left, just checked both ways a couple times, made sure, and then hauled ass across the road. Or the other times, I also seen him go up to the road and noticed that the culvert was there and decided. Then he started using the culvert, which was nice. Just go underneath the road, basically to go to a farmer's field and go walking through the corn and stuff. That's all I was doing. There wasn't nothing else on the other side of the road for him because there's just a couple big fields before you get to town. And so, yeah, he'd go wander around them and then come back. But it wasn't a big thing for him. He'd only do it a few times a year once the corn's cut down, and he was done with it because he couldn't hide anywhere. But yeah, we're dealing with 90s today still, high 80s, reaching in mid 90s. And I think it's supposed to cool down for the rest of the week. So then my eyes won't stop watering. I'm crying, crying because it's too hot. Uh, Hopefully, the rest of the week I can get at least a few loads out of the storage shed because the locksmith company that would not answer my calls, would not call me back, that charged us 500 some dollars and broke my garage door and only fixed one lock. Well, I said screw it. I called Fox 6. Well, I didn't call them. I wrote Fox 6 Investigates, filled out their forms, and they contacted me back within a day. The company that screwed me over contacted me back within a day, refunded my money, sent someone out to fix the door. The guy that ruined the door spent like hour and a half on it at least, and just left me with a door that was shot and then shut it on me. So everything locked on the door, but it didn't have a door handle anymore, so I couldn't open it. So I had to kick in a side door, which I had to bust a deadbolt to get in there and break half the door, which sucks because it was an old farm door, which was nice. I like that door in there. I wanted to fix it up, get it working again nicely. But because of him doing that to me, I had to break it. This guy showed up and he's like, "What the hell is this guy doing? Why did he drill it? Oh, what?" And he got it fixed for me in like 15 minutes. I explained a few things, found a few oddball nuts and bolts and screws and washers to help make up for what the guy did with the loose holes and stuff. And we got it fixed up nicely. Did an awesome job. I'm happy. I could lock my garage now and I could sit there and actually put the storage head stuff in the garage that I don't get into the house. That way I'm not paying for a storage shed anymore. So that's my goal over the next few weeks, but it is the prime of summer. So depending on how many hot days, that depends how many days I'm gonna actually pick up a load. But we will see how it goes. July and August is always the worst. And that's right around the corner, so we'll see what happens, but I am trying to behave myself and stay out of the heat because after this big move, I know that my body's just waiting to do some type of relapse, but not a relapse, something new that's going to hit me because I'm secondary progressive, so I don't deal with the relapses anymore. I just when something comes, it's stuck with me. but yeah, I was happy I made it through this week. I figured for sure the heat would have affected me more, but we stayed in and behaved ourselves, ordered, had food delivered, and stuff like that. So that worked out good. Ah, I got a few site things up that people sent. Don't. Now this one's like some self-defense moves for women. I think they can work for everybody. I don't think they gotta put it out there just for women. There's guys that need to be able to do some self-defense themselves and stuff, and these are all. I didn't look at all of them, but most of them are common sense type things. First one's the hammer strike, where you're just basically going for the facial area. I'd personally go for the nose, break that nose, get them to tear up right away and stuff. That's what I'd focus on if I was being attacked. And I wanted to do something like a hammer strike. Don't hit them in the head. The heads are hard. Don't. If you hit an eye, you might rupture something. You might get lucky. If you hit an ear, you might be able to cause some damage. But this is your weakest point, and then this is your honey spot. If you can hit them in the right spot, it's gonna knock them out. But yeah, that's the only spots I'd focus on with a hammer strike type meal, hammer strike type uh, defense. But basically, they're showing a gal holding a key ring tight in her fist or some type of knife she had in one of the other pictures, and you're just basically thrusting downward at your target, but twisting your body with it to get that extra oomph. The groin kick, obviously, kick them in the balls. I don't know how effective that would be on girls, but guys, definitely, it's one of the spots that everybody likes to go for first. And it may take them down, or it may just affect them slightly. But honestly, if you're going to kick someone in the groin, make sure you do it right, make sure it works, because if you don't, it's just going to piss them off and they're going to come at you even harder. Uh, they like the heel palm strike. This is okay, but you're not doing that much damage with the heel of your hand. So personally, I would do the downward thrust on the nose, break the nose, and then use the hammer strike and shove the nose bone into their brain. But I don't see any other effectiveness of hammer strikes because you're using the cushion of the hand instead of the knuckles. I'd rather use the knuckle side of the hands. Personally, but yeah, elbow strike, that's nice if you're close enough and you can get in there with it, but if you don't practice it enough, you're not going to get your elbow to come across. And it's like you're going to want to definitely practice that one a lot. Get your body to twist into it so you're throwing the elbow with it. But then you got to make sure you're within a couple feet of the person so you can actually hit him with your elbow. You got to get pretty damn close to have that elbow, which is only not even a foot away from your face. And you got to be right up against their face and go for a chin shot. Cheek shot's not going to do much, but you're going to want to hit the chin or the side of the temple for a possible knockout, another soft spot. Or you can knock people out. But I like elbows more when you're on top of them, pounding ground. They do show the alternative elbow strikes where you throw it behind you. That one I like because if you are close enough, someone comes behind and you throw that elbow around, twist your body with it, you might get a good hit, a good shot, and you might take them down. I've taken people down by doing the spinning elbow and the spinning backhand, and yeah, it can be effective, but again, you gotta be in close uh, proximity of the person. Pretty much have to have them right on top of you, so it's gotta be during the attack. Uh, they got like the bear hug attack where someone grabs you from behind, wraps their arms around you, and they show the person spinning around with the elbow, trying to hit them in the chin or the side of the head, and then slipping yourself behind them, kick them or knee them in the groin as you're going around, and then get behind them and on top of them or push them away and get the heck out of there. Uh, they show you a hands trapped technique where someone's got you over your neck and stuff. You get in there with your hand, kind of twist yourself out. You kick them in the knee, kick them in the groin, knee them in the groin, whatever. Smack their, drop your hand to start by hitting them in the groin, and then grabbing their arms and working your way out. Uh, and they show you escapes from headlocks and stuff. You can look all these up. They have different techniques and stuff they'll show you. But yeah, I'd personally go for nose, chin, temple, eyeballs, groin. Those would be the main areas I would go for. Uh, but you can also go in and take some type of Tai Chi or some type of karate course or something like that. Get yourself that extra self defense. Practice that you need because if you're going to just go in, get attacked, and do these moves fresh without having them practiced over and over and over, your body's not going to get the strength behind it or the right rotation behind it, and you're going to just end up throwing yourself off balance and causing more problems. So if you want to learn techniques like that, practice the techniques. Just look them up online. You can find lots of self-defense stuff out there. Uh, some ways to increase your longevity after 40. Focus on nutrition. Some nutrients to zero in on for longevity include B vitamins. I like the B complexes and stuff. Uh, make sure you get a variety of the B vitamins. Magnesium. A lot of people are low on magnesium. Vitamin D is good, especially if you don't get your 15 minutes of sun a day or don't get out much. And protein, keep you going, give you something to burn. Keep your system strong by getting certain micronutrients that are in meat, dairy, seafood, leafy greens, and whole grains. B complex vitamins are also a common supplement. But yeah, that's where you're going to find a lot of your B vitamins, which can be vitamin B deficiency can be linked to cardiovascular conditions and neurological conditions, osteoporosis. Magnesium, foods that can't contain magnesium are spinach, avocado, dark chocolate, beans, and nuts. Always talk with your doctors with any of these deficiencies and stuff. Make sure you know, because it's best to get your annual blood test and all that stuff and see where your levels are for a lot of these things, and that way you can pinpoint what you're low on and focus on those things instead of just taking everything you hear about and just assuming that you're low on stuff, and then you're getting too many nutrients of some type. But yeah, the older you get, the harder it might be for your body to absorb magnesium. So take care of that. Vitamin D, you can pull more D into your diet through foods like fortified milk or mushrooms. You can also ask your doctor about supplementation. I take my supplements every day. I do. Right now it's summertime, and with the house and everything, I do get out most days, unless it's hot. Uh, I'm not gonna risk having my arms and legs quit working and I'm laying out in the middle of my driveway. Neighbors are like, "What's up with you?" I'm just playing. Just felt like crawling around on the gravel. Like, what do you think? What's up with me? It's not me. I'm not up. I'm on the ground. I need a hand. But yeah, so when I'm getting my vitamin D in the summertime, I keep it to 2 to 4,000 milligrams, I think it is, of vitamin D. Wintertime, I'll pump it up. A lot of times during fall to spring, I'll take a 50,000 milligram tablet once a month. But yeah, I keep track of my numbers at the when I get my yearly health exam. Protein may always be a critical nutrient. Muscle mass usually declines as we get older. Uh, so you definitely want to build that with protein. I personally am seeing, I'm what now, 55? Yeah, it's 2025, so yeah, 55. My brain mass is shrinking. But yeah, I notice how much my muscles have deteriorated. I try and keep doing things to keep them at least having muscle on the bone and stuff, uh, keeping some muscle mobility. But yeah, you can really get weak over the years if you just aren't doing things, aren't active, aren't doing any type of calisthenics, working out, anything like that to keep body parts motional and building muscle mass and all that stuff. Uh, so those are some good ways to increase your longevity, but honestly, it's just to help us keep going, us MSers. Benadryl, why do they give it to us for our treatments, certain types of MS treatments? Uh, some people with MS may be given diphenhydramine before undergoing certain treatments aimed at slowing disease progression and disability progress, basically our DMTs. It can help people with RRMS or other types of MS avoid adverse effects such as allergic reactions to infusions. And it is an allergy medication, so I can see that. Basically, when I get it, I basically am ready to go to sleep. It's like nap time. It's just take a nap for a while, but I fight through it and then start reading something and I'll feel a lot better within about an hour of getting it. Uh, let's see. Antihistamines are drugs that block histamine, a chemical made by white blood cells. Histamine is responsible for allergy symptoms such as itchy skin, rash, and hives. When I was on Ocrevus, I'd take it, I'd be drowsy. About an hour later, I had the itchiness starting in certain areas of my body. So they could have gave me more, but it obviously wears off relatively quickly because yeah, the rest of the infusion I'd have the itch factor on certain areas. Uh, these medications may be administered in addition to or instead of diphenhydramine. Other antihistamines such as Zyrtec, cetirizine is also a name for Zyrtec. Steroids such as prednisone or methylprednisolone, Medrol. There's non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, NSAIDs, such as aspirin or ibuprofen, Motrin. There's pain relievers such as acetaminophen, which is Tylenol. Signs and symptoms of a reaction from the treatment may include itchy skin, hives, reaction at the injection site such as pain or swelling, fever, chills, headache, difficulty breathing. You may be given oral or IV diphenhydramine before your infusion. which could be alemtuzumab, which is Lemtrada, ocrelizumab, which is Ocrevus, natalizumab, which is Tysabri, and oblatuzumab Xi, which is Briumvi. Briumvi is the one that I've heard of, but never really learned much about. But yeah, an IV, the under the skin subcutaneous type infusions. You're there for a while. A lot of times I'd show up in the morning when it's dark, and I'd leave there when in the late afternoon when the halls were dark and most people were gone. Some side effects can be dry mouth, dry eyes, dizziness, stomach upset. Ah, can't stop yawning today. Slept in. Probably why I'm yawning. And we did put the blackout curtains in the bedroom, and you wake up in the dark and you're just not as awake. I'd rather wake to light bugging me, but not bugging me when I'm trying to sleep. In rare cases, it can cause serious side effects or allergic reactions that require emergency medical attention, like difficulty breathing, swelling of the mouth or throat, pounding heartbeat, trouble urinating, confusion. So definitely talk with your doctor if you have any of those issues, and make sure you talk with them before you get your infusions and everything else. Make sure your body's not going to react or hasn't reacted in the past to any of them, and just check them out and be safe. So I actually didn't mind the infusions. Once every few months, just go sit in the chair, read some books, listen to some podcasts and stuff. This one talks about the top 5 medications that MSers are using, whether they're orally, through subcutaneous injections, shots, or via intravenous infusions delivered into a vein using a needle, which is the Ocrevus and stuff that we were just talking about, or the infusions. DMTs differ from other MS medications like corticosteroids and prednisone, which address specific symptoms of MS but don't slow disease progression or prevent new flare ups. The ones they have focused on glutamine acetate, your Copaxone, Glatopa, probably something you're going to be put on first by most people. Will be put on Copaxone or something first to inject yourself with the needles. I'm not going to give the numbers of MS people taking it and stuff like that, because that's just people from this site. It was approved in 1996. Taken by injection. Is it a highly effective DMT? No, it is not. It's basically a starter DMT. You got interferon beta 1A, which is Avonex and Rebif. It came out in 1996 with approval. It's an injection, and no, it also is not a highly effective DMT. Dimethyl fumarate, which is Tecfidera, came out in 2013. I thought that came out earlier than that. Take that orally, and no, it's not highly effective. Natalizumab, which is Tysabri, came out in 2004. I thought Tysabri and Tecfidera came out closer together. That's an infusion, and yes, it is highly effective. It's the one I was going to go on if I had to go on a DMT after my Mavenclad, but they never wanted me to yet. So we got Fingolimod, which is Gilenya. That came out in 2010. It's oral, and yes, it is highly effective. Interferon beta 1b, which is betaserone, betaserone, and Xtavia. Came out in 1993. Wow, that's the one of the older ones. Well, the oldest so far on the list. It's also an injection and not highly effective. Yeah, teriflunomide, which is Aubagio, which came out in 2012. That's orally, and no, it's not highly effective. Ocrelizumab, Ocrevus, came out in 2017. It's an infusion which I took, and yes, it is highly effective. I had higher hopes for it, but they screwed up by not having it ready for me in time, and I'd have to wait up to 5 more weeks. And so basically, it's out of my system, and I'm restarting my system with it every time. And sorry, I got fleas. I just got the itchies going on because I've been talking about itching. Uh, but yeah, I think it would have been way more effective for me if they got my medication to me on time. Didn't bump me around to different hospitals and all that other stuff. I was looking forward to it doing more for me. But sadly, with the delays, it just made it worse. Uh, Pig interferon beta 1A, which is Plegridy, came out in 2014. It's an injection, not highly effective. Alemtuzumab, which is Lemtrada, came out in 2014. It's an infusion. It is highly effective. Rituximab, which is Rituxan, it's not FDA approved for MS, prescribed off label. It's an infusion, and yes, it's highly effective. Rituxan I've heard about for a while, so I'm surprised it's not approved by FDA. I'm wondering why they haven't yet. I might have to look into that. Mitoxantrone, which is Novantronine, it came out in 2000. It's an infusion, and yes, it is highly effective. Cladribine, which is Mavenclad, which I took last, came out or got FDA approved. I keep saying came out. FDA, which basically it didn't come out in the U.S. until it was FDA approved. So, and this is all U.S. related data that I give you. So if you are from another country, you may have to look up your own data because you get most of these medications before us. Because our FDA wants it to be tested other places, and then they give like 12 years between or something before they allow them to come to the U.S. But Mavenclad 2019 orally, and yes, it is highly effective. I feel it's done a wonderful job with me. I'm just nervous not being on anything that I might go into some major issue eventually. So hopefully that won't happen. Diroximel fumarate, which is Vumerity, which I don't think I've heard Vumerity before. 2019, it was approved. It's oral, and no, it is not highly effective, so I guess I don't need to hear about it. Cipinamide, which is Mazent, came out in 2019. It's oral, and yes, it is highly effective. Ozanimod, Zeposia, came out in 2020, or approved in 2020, orally, and yes, it's highly effective. Seems like the ones that came out later are more effective. Now I said that, they won't be. Ponizumab, which is Ponbury, came out in 2021 orally, and no, it's not highly effective. Monomethyl fumarate, which is Bifurtim, came out in 2020 orally, and no, it is not highly effective. And Ofatumumab, which is Kesimpta, 2020 it came out orally, and yes, it is highly effective. That's one that you see a lot of commercials for nowadays. Uh, the ones that most members have reported taking, along with more detail about each medication, is glatiramer acetate, which it's indicated for multiple forms of MS, including clinically isolated symptom, relapsing, remitting MS, and secondary progressive MS. I didn't know it was being used for secondary anymore. The drug is injected subcutaneously under the skin. It's immunomodulator. It incorporates several of the amino acids that make up myelin. Scientists believe glutamer acetate may act as a decoy for the immune system to attack instead. There's interferon beta 1A. Like glutamer acetate, it is indicated for various forms of MS. It's also an immunomodulator. Beta interferons are human-made versions of interferons, protein the body naturally produces to reduce inflammation. Less inflammation means less nerve damage from our MS. From the monster, dimethyl fumarate, like Tecfidera, it's taken orally. It's a NRL2 activator. It's a type of protein that helps. Now my nose itches. Helps protect cells from damage. Scientists believe it works by decreasing the number of lymphocytes, which are white blood cells in the body, which in turn reduces autoimmune attacks on the nervous system. There's natalizumab, Tisabri. Biogen pulled it off the market in 2005 after two people taking the drug developed brain infections, which you always got to watch for those things. It's classified as a monoclonal antibody medication, also known as a biologic. Scientists believe it works by attaching to the lymphocytes and keeping them from accessing the central nervous system, thereby preventing them from attacking the brain and nerves. There, and then fingolimod, like Gilenya, is classified as a sphingosine 1 phosphate receptor modulator. It decreases immune cell activity that may damage nerves. It is taken orally as a pill once a day. So that's what these members mostly take, but you got a reference to which ones are more effective and stuff like that, which is nice. So you can consider which ones to research to see if there's something you'd want to go on and something you can talk over with your medical staff and see if it is worth trying, to see if any of those that you would like to try are worth trying for yourself and if your doctor would agree with you about trying them. But personally, I wouldn't jump to the big ones until you tried the basics and seeing how they go, because the big ones are going to affect your body more and you may end up with a sick spell and all that issues and all that other things. But it is better to start with the smaller self injections and stuff like that, or infusions, before you get into the heavy pills or something like that. But there's a good variety out there now. So you just got to research and see which would work best for you. And this isn't MS related unless you're outside at night and accidentally get sprayed, but it is if you have pets. It's that time of year. Skunks are wandering around. This is around the time of year where Lemmy got sprayed by a skunk a few years back. while the wife was back home in another state, and I was stuck dealing with Stinky Cat. But yeah, there's lots of at-home techniques and commercial products you can find. I think it's Skunk Away. You can get it at a pet store. It's just go to a pet store and look up skunk stuff. Big bottle, round bottle, has a little skunk on the picture and stuff, and it works awesome. Uh, just pick that up and don't mess with the rest, in my opinion. And don't do the tomato bath, tomato sauce bath, or tomato juice bath, any of that crap, because it doesn't work. It's That's just something someone brought up once, and it doesn't do what it's supposed to do. But skunk spray contains the sulfur-based organic compounds called thiols. These compounds let off an immediate blast of acrid scent, reminiscent of rotten eggs. Rotten eggs, yeah, maybe, but I instantly get skunk whenever I smell it. I can. We were out the. Oh, Lemmy didn't come in the other day, and I was worried about him. I go look for him. Here he's stuck in the neighbor's fenced-in area, and I see this cat on the outside of the fence. At least I think it was a cat, because I could smell a little skunk in the air. So there's either a skunk nearby, or the thing that caused him to jump the fence was a skunk. And he knows, since he's been sprayed, he sees the skunk, he gets the hell away from it. So hopefully it won't happen again, but at any given time, he could chase that wrong thing, and all of a sudden, it's too late to stop, and you're trying to stop in his tracks as the tail goes up, and poof, all over. Yeah, poor guy had it all over his face. Not this time, but that time a few years back. They say wash your entire body with deodorant soap or a grease cutting dish detergent. Wash your hair with a shampoo made for oily hair. You can also soak in a baking soda bath for 15 to 20 minutes. Pour 2 to 4 cups of baking soda into hot water. Rinse to remove the residue from your skin when you're done. Uh, for pets, they say if your pet gets sprayed, create a homemade mixture of 1 quart, 3% hydrogen peroxide, 1 teaspoon baby shampoo or a grease cutting dish detergent, and 1/4 cup baking soda. This is what I started with when he got sprayed that day. I seen this also somewhere else online, and I had hydrogen peroxide, I had Dawn dish soap, and baking soda, so I figured what the heck, we'd try it. You lather the mixture onto your pet's fur and let it sit for 5 minutes. Make sure not to get it into their eyes, then rinse and wash your pet with their regular shampoo. Repeat if necessary. It didn't do enough to make me happy, but once I got that uh, special mix from the pet store, that did wonders and got rid of the last of the smell, because it gets deep in their skin. It's such an oily spray from the skunk that it just soaks into everything. Air drying may be more effective than machine drying. A dryer may bake in the smell if it's not removed completely during washing. So with your clothes, you are going to want to air dry them. Don't stick them in a dryer. I washed my stuff and the stuff I washed him with, and stupidly put it in the wash machine and had it in the already had it washed and threw it in the drying cycle before I read something like this online, and I'm like, damn it. Now my clothes are gonna smell like that forever. With getting it out of your house, ventilate your home, opening all windows and running fans on high, of course. If it's temperature controlled with the HVAC, let the fan run continuously until the smell is gone. HVAC systems work out good with the fan, just circulating the air out. Let sunlight in. It'll help oxidize the odor. Place bowls of vinegar in each room of the house and leave them in place for 24 to 48 hours. I had bowls of vinegar all over the areas that the cat, hung out at. But I kept them up high so he wouldn't drink out of them or anything like that, or try to drink out of them. Once the smell is gone, change the filters on your air conditioner, heaters, and furnace to avoid reintroducing it into your home. Hard surfaces such as floors and furniture can be treated with a solution of 10% bleach, 90% water. Uh, Patch test the solution first to make sure it does not take the color of the wood and ceramics. There's commercially prepared cleaning sprays and solutions that can help. Uh, yeah, it's just that time of year. I see so many more skunks this time of year. Smell them, see them in the Midwest. So it's a good thing to watch out for. Not really a fully MS related day with things we were talking about, but it's stuff I have in my files and I want to get it out of my files. So I'm gonna keep going through stuff until I run out because they send me so much stuff from all these different companies. Drives me nuts. It's like with my Mavenclad. I took Mavenclad for my 2 years. After my 2 years was up, all of a sudden the I don't know if it's AMD or whatever, they send me a thing every couple of weeks about a Mavenclad meeting I can go to learn about Mavenclad, but they didn't send me these before I took Mavenclad or while I was taking Mavenclad. But as soon as I was done, they started sending me these, and I'm constantly throwing them away, and they keep sending them to me over and over and over. And it's like, well, I can't go back on Mavenclad, so why would I go to one of these meetings? Other than the fact that they do give you a free dinner and you can hang out with some other MSers, meet some great people. I did enjoy that with while I was going through Copaxone and Ocrevus. I'd go to different meetings and learn about other drugs and stuff and other things with MS. And yeah, the ones we went through were fun. And I met some great people. And yeah, I wouldn't mind going to another one, but I'd like it to be for something that I'd be considering or something I want to know more about. Is I don't need to know more about Mavenclad because they won't let me go back on it. Although some people say that after like 5 years they'll let you do 1 year of it again. Don't know, but I don't know if I want to do that because it was a pretty heavy drug. Uh, but yeah, that's it for today. Not too much news on me. Not too much exciting going on, but just kick the shit out of the monster, especially if you had heat issues with it being summertime. Focus on the keeping all the pains and issues away that you can. Do what you can to enhance your body to help with MS issues. Talk to your doctors and their staff and everybody and your whole medical crew and make sure you're happy with everybody you got. If not, find yourself new specialists and new MS doctors and whatever. I know I'm still working on. I'm happy with about 80% of my staff now, but my MS neurologist and I guess my MS neurologist is about the only one I'm still having issues with. We'll be seeing him around October and figure out things then, and then I'll decide if I'm going to be searching again for another new neurologist. We'll see, but I'm running out of them in Wisconsin, so all the ones I contact are not MS qualified and aren't knowledgeable enough, so you're going to deal with their opinions and the guessing game with a lot of stuff. I don't want to go back through that. I want to stick with the MS style neurologist. But hard to do after COVID. A lot of doctors just disappeared, and we're dealing with nurse practitioners, a lot of people that don't know anything about MS, and that sucks. And how's that supposed to help people if we don't have the medical field to work with our people and enough of them spread out throughout the world to take care of everybody everywhere? But do what you can, kick the crap out of the monster. Be good to yourself, be good to everybody else. Someone annoys you, picks on you, talks about you, just laugh at them and walk away. If they get aggressive, I showed you some moves you can use. Talked about some moves you can use to protect yourself. Keep following Under the Call of MS. Rate, review, subscribe, tell a friend, give us those likes. Tell your people in your little, any of your MS groups. It'd be great to get more feedback. It'd be great to get some comments, some questions, things I could answer for people in future episodes and stuff like that. So take care, and we will be back with another one of these next week. Thanks. Have a wonderful week. Bye.